Did you watch Obi Wan?
Jake, yeah, I
Rich.
have watched Obi Wan.
And thoughts?
Um, you know what? Let's just have the episode start with this shit. We're
Mm-hmm.
just gonna go in raw. We haven't even done any opening. Like usually before an episode starts, we ramble a little bit, but I want to cut in. Just start with this. Um,
Uh-huh.
so this is spoilery as fuck. But I really like it, and it went from like to love with episode 3.
Really?
Yeah, they made Darth Vader scarier than he has ever been in that episode.
I can agree with that statement.
hmm
I've heard a
Just,
lot of people like really pissed about it though.
I mean, the only people I know who are pissed about it are pissed because there is a black woman in a central role, which is, you know, kind of.
Stupid.
hmm
Yeah, who gives a shit
And
what
they'll
color
say
she is?
any number of things to try to disguise what the problem is, but ultimately what it comes down to is,
They're racist fucks.
yeah, basically.
Okay.
Now, I'm sure there are people with legitimate concerns, however, or complaints. However,
Mm-hmm.
all I've heard is people looking for excuses to complain about her,
Mm-hmm.
and it all comes down to she's black and a woman.
Who cares? I
And
don't give a damn.
there's a certain kind of person who complains about like every time there is a woman, especially if it's somebody of a minority, just fucking runs after him for like whatever fucking reason. It's like, let it go. She's fine. In fact, if you want to critique her about anything, and it's like this is like the most nitpicky bullshit you could ever come up with.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks she doesn't have some sort of cool like head or face thing going on. Like every other Inquisitor wears a
Mm-hmm.
helmet or a hat or has a
Mm-hmm.
cool like face tattoo or something, and
Yeah.
she just has cool hair.
A little bit. Yeah.
So she just looks like a lady dressing up like as a Star Wars character.
So
Rather
what
than
you're saying is she doesn't really look menacing enough.
no, she doesn't look menacing at all. She's good at looking pissed. I see
Mm-hmm.
she very much comes off as driven. Like she obviously
Yeah.
wants Obi-Wan to fucking I
She
don't
wants
know.
that dick for some reason.
She wants
I
him. She
she'll.
wants him. I don't know if she like. I've got a hypothesis.
Oh yeah. She wants to use him to kill Vader or something.
Oh, I need to put my pop screen over. Whoops. Sorry, man.
Yeah. Put your pop screen over.
Hopefully, it's
Yeah.
not
What the fuck?
popping. I think
Poppy, poppy, poppy.
this is just me kind of coming off some shit that they've shown so far, and I only think this
Mhm.
because they showed a little bit of it, but they gave you a brief glimpse of when Order 66 went down,
Yep.
and it showed a bunch of kids running away and escaping.
Yep.
What if she's one of those kids?
It'd be kind of weird. I don't know
Really?
how I would look at it kind of. I would look at that weird because Vader's going through and just losing his shit over it.
That's the
And
like the thing is they've also mentioned that the Empire's been picking up kids and they've been
yeah.
disappearing and never seen again.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
and the Star Wars canon has kind of gotten into this a little bit that they go around and they pick up kids and they train them to be Inquisitors.
Yeah.
So
Turn him into
if
dark
I
dark side adepts. Yep.
yeah, so I wouldn't be surprised if some of the kids from Order 66 got snatched and we're kind of oh hey you guys managed to get out of here, congratulations, survival of the fucking fittest, you get to be inquisitor, you're going to be put into the fucking training to be inquisitors or whatever, like
Hmm.
that's just my guess, and so she's got a fucking mad on to Obi-Wan because he wasn't there and all this bad shit went down, like she could maybe like he's a surviving important guy and maybe she was one of his like somebody in one of his classes or something. Like listen, this is not.
That's pretty. That's some weak sauce there to me.
You
To
think
me,
so? I don't
Rich.
think. I think it's a good. I think like otherwise, what else would
Well,
she have? This is personal.
well,
It is
because if it was so
deeply personal.
personal, if it was so personal, why isn't she just losing her shit over Vader then?
Does she
He's
know? Does she know
yeah,
he's
she
Anakin?
yeah, she flat out says it in the
Oh, you're right.
show.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Mm,
Weak sauce, Rich. Lots of
I don't
weak
know.
sauce.
I don't know. Maybe she's mad at him because Anakin was his responsibility.
Or if you really want to play the angle right, instead of making her a kid
hmm
during that, maybe that was one of her kids.
I don't think she's old enough.
You never know.
I mean, Obi Wan at this point is supposed to be in like his late 40s, early 50s
Yeah.
chronologically.
hmm Vader
So,
was, Vader was past being a teenager.
I mean,
Who's to
Vader
say
at
that
this point, like, all right, so this is like what, 8 years after Order 66, right?
hmm 8 to 10 years, I thought it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So, um, so I think that would mean that, yeah, if he was in like his late 30s
hmm
by the time Episode 3, he would be in his late 40s or 50ish by now.
Right. hmm
Vader was in his 20s, so he'd be in his 30s now. Like,
Right.
man, what is it? Like Reva, actress. Like, I'm trying to find how old she is. Moses Ingram.
hmm
Moses Ingram. How old is she? Because I'm guessing she's like
Well,
20. Like,
it's not gonna matter what her age is
yeah, I
as far
know.
as from an actress
Yeah, I know, but
standpoint.
it kind of helps give an idea. She's actually older than I thought. She's 29. So,
They always are.
yeah.
If
Good
you
for
didn't
her.
know.
No, good for her. Well, like, Hollywood's usually pretty like
Mhm.
shitty when it comes to women, and it's like,
Oh, absolutely.
we're gonna
Yes,
hire
I am.
we're gonna have
Mhm.
this 25-year-old actress play somebody who's 39 because she's
It's
got.
actually usually the opposite, but yeah,
With dudes, it's usually the opposite, but like,
women are the same way a little bit too.
I was thinking, like, I don't know.
hmm
I, just,
Anna Kendrick, oh yeah, she's been playing like
I
women
guess.
that like she was like 10 that were
Oh
10
yeah,
years
yeah,
younger.
yeah. She can. Well, she also has a youthful look, so she can pull that off.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, yeah. So yes, Jake, I am super fucking into Obi Wan so
But
far. I was
mhm.
kind of curious how they were gonna. The fact that they were bringing Hayden Christensen back, which I was happy to hear, made me think, oh wow, that made me think they're really going to be leaning into.
Vader.
I mean, not even leaning into. It's just they're going to touch on things more than I expected, and it is even more than that. Like it's.
Well, I mean, if you really think about it, during that time period, I mean, he's hunting everybody.
Yeah,
So
but it feels like this is like like more of a follow up to Episode 3 and those events than I otherwise expected. Like,
episode 4, you mean?
yeah, no, episode. It's a follow up to Episode 3.
Oh, are you talking about the show or are you talking
The
about the
movies. The
movies?
movies. Sorry, yes.
And you're
It's
wrong again. It would be episode 4 because that's when it takes place. It takes place between the Order 66 and A New Hope.
It takes place after Order 66 and a new.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like 10
but
years
not
after.
it's
Yes.
it's not after A New Hope though. It's
No.
between episode 3 and
Yeah.
episode 4.
Yes. Exactly. That's why I was saying
But
it
you were
is.
saying it took place before episode 3.
No. I'm
That's
saying
what
it.
you said.
No, I'm saying it is. It is a.
Rewind the recording and
What I was trying to say is that it's like following up on Episode 3.
okay,
It is like
yes.
it is like more of a direct sequel
to
to.
episode 3.
Yeah, in terms of
Yes.
like the events that happened
Mhm.
than I
Um,
expected. Like I did not expect it to straight up address like the Anakin situation as much as it is. I expected that more to be like mental like head games, like him dealing with shit like Fallout, and like I
well,
didn't
I mean,
realize how much he was going to be dealing with like the Empire and what's happened since. Like I
mhm,
didn't even know what to expect. I just thought he might be bumming around Tatooine and fall into an adventure, but he's
right.
directly dealing with like fallout from that. Like he has to deal with like seeing how much the Empire has fucked up everything and interacting with Leia, who has grown up since then and got dropped off on Alderaan. Like just all this shit that I was just like, oh fuck. Like
I don't. I guess the only flaw to me
mhm.
in the show is Leia. I don't,
Really?
and I'm not. I don't fault the actress. It's not the actress. I think she's not written right.
You don't think so?
Okay.
She's like a
Uh,
kid.
yeah, but I expect her to be less intuitive and more like, what's the word? Rebellious, if you will.
I mean, I think I 100% expect her to be super rebellious.
Yes. And I mean, it's there a little bit, but
She was running away every opportunity she got to fuck around in the forest. Like she's dicking around with her family members. Like
well, I look at it
even in the
from,
beginning, she's like fucking with Obi Wan. It's like I'm not listening to what you say. I'm doing what I want.
I expected more of that.
Oh.
So
Well, I think after in that
and a little
episode,
bit more like hard-headedness, if you will. Like, because Leia was like, I mean, Carrie Fisher, she had this look that is like, I don't give a damn what you think.
I mean, I think she had that in the beginning, but
Uh-huh.
after everything that's gone down since then, she's like, okay, I'm gonna listen to this guy. He's obviously like, she's also a kid and just wants to get home. Like the
Right.
facade of that, like, I
I
do what
could
I
see
want has
that.
kind of
Yeah.
fallen after everything has gone to shit, for her. So yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. So I don't know. I'm loving it. It's good.
That would be like, that's my only, like,
hmm
if I had a complaint, which I don't, okay, don't confuse that. That would be it. So,
You know what it feels like to me?
what's that?
Real Star Wars.
I don't know yet.
Like so
I'm
far,
I'm,
so
I'm
far,
reserved. I'm reserving that judgment yet.
like so far, it feels like real Star Wars. Like, and I don't mean that like I dislike Book of Boba Fett or The Mandalorian. I fucking love those. Like, I love those
Mhm.
characters. I love those stories, but they don't feel like essential stories to the core Star Wars like original movies, like that the
Sure.
Skywalker saga, as it were.
Mhm.
Like this so far feels like if I was going to do a marathon of Star Warsing. So far, this feels like essential material.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you're gonna appreciate the entire like
hmm
the
The Skywalker, what do they call it?
yeah
The
the Skywalker,
saga.
yeah, if you're gonna appreciate that story right now, this feels like essential, like an essential piece of it. Kind of like the Clone Wars became to a certain extent.
Hmm. I didn't see all the Clone Wars, but I heard that they started out really shitty and they got
Yeah,
better with time.
I've
So.
and I mentioned this in past episodes, very slowly working my way through it, and that is absolutely the case. Like the further along it gets, the better it gets, to the point
And
where, from what
yeah.
I'm told, like the last season entirely takes place during like Order 66 time. Like,
Hmm.
so you see everything just like go completely to shit
Gotcha. Hmm.
in a way that
Yeah,
you've
because
never really seen before in most
that
things.
that movie was shit.
Yeah.
The Clone Wars movie that they did, the animated
Oh
one.
yeah, no, that was trash. Everybody agrees with that for the most part. It's a good kids movie, but like for an adult,
It's
not great.
okay.
Yeah.
Even for a kids movie, it's only okay in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah. Well. Jake,
Rich,
I haven't touched on this in a while on the show, but I feel like I should do a minor update.
of Dark Souls
No.
or Elder Ring
I mean, I could mention Elden Ring, but I haven't really done much
or
lately
Elden.
with that over the last like
Oh,
month
oh,
because
okay.
like I've been so
You're a
fucking
slacker.
because I'm so busy. My kid's just sleeping like shit again, and like my free time at night is non-existent. So like,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
It's a good thing that we switched to nights now then.
yeah, I know it's honestly a horrible idea. The I don't even have the last episode edited and up yet. I got it mostly done,
Mhm.
but the music episode it's not up yet. So listeners know
Wow.
I am trying to get that motherfucking thing edited and out. When you hear this, like know the wait was not because I was slacking entirely. The first little bit was because I was slacking and not feeling the pressure, and then when I felt the
Well,
pressure to get going on it, it has taken me like I worked on it like 5 nights straight. But every time I would get going
holy
on it,
crap.
yeah. But every time I would like get going on it, I got interrupted. Like Lauren would be like,
Damn.
"I need to go to bed early," or Asher would wake up screaming, and then I would get stuck with him, or like something would come up and pull me away before I could like devote the full time. And it's a huge episode in terms of like
Yeah,
stuff I
editing.
gotta add and
hmm
source and shit. Like
Editing.
it's like what 14 songs?
Yep.
Yeah, so not including the intro and outro. So
Right.
a lot of files to source and a lot of stuff to sync and make edits for. And my
hmm
daughter, dudes, I left some of them in, but you guys are listening to it. Hopefully it's not super apparent by the time I'm done with it. But my daughter interrupted when we were doing that episode like every 10
Yep.
minutes.
Yep.
It was constant.
Yep. Now you understand how I felt about the whole situation.
hmm So I don't know how that's gonna come. So anyway, I don't have a lot of time to play Elden Ring. But what I do have a lot of time to appreciate is my fucking ever-growing statue collection,
Oh
which
yeah.
I sent Jake a picture of it the last time we gamed. But when I updated the listeners a long time ago, when I fell into this ridiculous hobby,
And it is a ridiculous one.
It is. I had a handful of statues I wanted to get, and then I was going to build a case for them, and that was going to be it.
Mm-hmm.
I have now gotten all of those statues except for the very first one that I put a pre-order down on, the X-23, because it hasn't released yet. It's almost paid off though. So
Well, that's good.
I just put that on a very long, tiny payment plan where it's just a very
Mm-hmm.
little bit like every month because it doesn't come out until like September
Oh,
at
okay.
the earliest.
Gotcha.
It says Q3, but it's gonna be like right at the end of Q3. So
Yeah.
so
Close
I've been basically done, but because of how my life, like I've mentioned before, I'm in the midst of a pretty major life change,
Mm-hmm.
and like I don't know if I want to like commit in terms of like the the money and the placement and in terms of like everything that it's going to take to get a display set up the way I
Right.
originally wanted it. Like now I'm like,
It's a lot of fucking work.
it's a lot of fucking work, and I don't know if that's going to work long term now.
Right. Yep.
So
Okay.
I'm thinking. So now I'm just kind of taking advantage of what display space I have now, and that ended up meaning that my Deathstroke was just sitting all alone on top of a bookshelf, and I'm like, this looks terrible. I need to find something. So I ended up finding.
He's lonely. Is that what it is?
Yeah, and I was like, maybe I'll just stick up some Gundams up there, and I'm like, no, this looks fucking dumb. So I ended up finding a similar scaled Batman statue,
Okay.
but rather than a super high end Batman that XM Deathstroke is like fucking $1,000, I ended up
Right.
getting a Kotobukiya, a company who all the weebs out there might recognize as a Japanese company that makes a lot of toys and stuff in Japan. Obviously, they're from Japan, but they also do a whole bunch of like American comic book characters as statues. It's like one of the weirdest things. Like I don't, for whatever reason, this Japanese company loves to make American superheroes.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, cool. But they ended up doing it's not as high end because it's plastic,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a Batman based on the Hush design, which is one of the best Batman designs because it's like Jim Lee, who's like the basic, like basically think of like the standard look of Batman, but then make it look fucking cool as shit. That's Jim Lee.
Okay.
That's like everybody in comics basically knows what I'm talking about when I talk about Batman Hush. So it's based on that design, and it's similarly scaled to the Deathstroke.
Mm-hmm.
So I got it up, and then I was like, but there's still enough
Rich
space.
got it up.
I did get it up, and it was way cheaper too. But then I was like, there's still enough. What the fuck am I gonna put in this extra space that's still here? So I managed to find another cheap Spawn statue to stick up there, and I was like,
Oh,
great. But that was like super cheap off Amazon. It was like $30,
okay.
so it was like super dirt cheap, and it looks awesome. The problem is right after that, I learned
Oh,
that there's a Moon Knight statue from like 5 years ago that's being reissued
okay.
from Diamond Select, and I don't usually consider them particularly high end, but they do occasionally do slightly more high end statues.
Mm-hmm.
So I managed to slip in on a last minute pre-order for that. So now I have a Moon Knight statue coming. Thankfully, it's way cheaper than some of the other ones, but it still looks super high end.
Okay.
But I don't know where I'm gonna fucking put it.
Gotcha.
And for the last month, I've been eyeing a couple statues on Sideshow that
Mm-hmm.
I have, because I've bought so much stuff through Sideshow over the last year, sideshowcollectibles.com. I've got a like hundreds of dollars in not credit. They give you points for everything you buy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I got like a couple $100 in points stashed, which can be a
Nice.
pretty, like I can knock off a pretty good chunk of another piece or an entire like, smaller, like still expensive but smaller end thing. But they have later this year around the same time they have a Venom and a Doctor Doom coming out.
Okay.
And so I'm like, I could like pay like half of the Venom or a third of the Doctor Doom. And they both look really fucking good, and now I want them both. So now I'm in this situation where like, I don't know if I'm going to have space to display these things long term. Do I want to commit to selling a bunch of stuff to afford those things? One or both of those? And then have these gigantic things, and they're gigantic boxes, because the boxes are massive.
Yep.
The boxes are like 2.5 to 3 feet by 2 feet by a foot thick. Like, they're massive.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I kept them all in my garage, so it's like, shit, what am I going to do?
Lauren's probably losing her shit now. As far as space taken up in the garage by
I mean,
those
our
boxes.
garage is taken up more by, like, her, like, teacher shit.
Oh, okay.
Interesting thing about teachers, they have a lot of stuff that's not even in their classroom. Like, they just...
Say it ain't so.
I think there's something about being a teacher that also is, like... Hoarding makes it sound bad, but it almost feels like justifiable hoarding, because, like, you have to do so much as a teacher, and if your grade level changes, then the stuff you need for that different grade level can be different, whether it be paperwork that you'll need copies of, or books, or equipment, or materials, or whatever. So it's like, you just keep it, and it just stockpiles. And then her mom keeps dropping off shit, because her mom's a retired teacher, so there's like, hey, you might use these couple boxes full of shit, and I'm like, we don't need any of this. I can't park my car in our dual car garage because there's so much teacher shit.
I would probably argue that, like, in her situation, because even if she doesn't change grades, okay, it'll get monotonous for her. If you just, like, maybe, like, instead of having the same project, like, you shuttle off to a different one just to kind of spice it up a little bit for yourself in that scenario.
Absolutely. And she teaches, like, early elementary right now.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where she prefers to be. So it's like that those kind of grades, they have a lot of hands-on. So it's a lot of, like, toys and centers and stuff. So.
But yeah, that's my, like, little 2 cents. Is I could totally see her, like, not wanting to do the same things every year at the same time of year all the time. So, but no, I'm surprised, and I'm going to mention it again. I dropped it on you, like, it must have been a week ago or not even that, but the Optimus Prime Lego
Jake
set.
Lego is your thing. I want to hear your perspective on this before I come at it from the perspective of a Transformers collector.
Okay. Well, to me, it just sounds like a badass idea, okay? Because, while, yes, most Legos, in a sense, like, or most Transformers, from what I understand, in this, when they start getting into other areas, they don't necessarily transform. Like, this one does.
100%.
Okay? This one actually fully transforms into the semi.
That is incredibly rare for a licensed Transformers product. They usually keep the transforming element limited only to Hasbro products. So
that is the big thing about this, and that's why I'm advocating for it. If it was just, you know, a glorified Lego structure, if you will, for that just had him, you know, as a robot, I'd be like, that's all right and whatnot. But I don't know if I'm necessarily going to go for it. But the fact that it does actually physically transform, that in itself just makes it like, oh shit, I'm definitely interested. The other thing that they're doing is they're actually, Lego is undergoing a transformation regarding their Lego for Adults line.
Oh yeah?
And yeah, they're gonna change the naming of it. I think it's called Lego Icons.
Yes, I saw that. I'm looking at the site right now.
Yeah. And it's just gonna be, I like that a little bit better than just Lego for Adults, because I find, like, Lego for Adults is a little bit harder to distinguish from the rest of the sets. Because they don't necessarily come out and say that on their sets.
Yeah.
There's that guy, but I am very, very interested in him. I still want the Daily Bugle, but that thing's so expensive. Oh my goodness. $300.
I mean, Optimus is $169.99.
Right. There's that one. I'm very curious about. I would probably put him on a shelf. The other one is the Nano Gauntlet. I want that. I don't know if you know what the Nano Gauntlet is.
I don't.
So, okay, you had the I'm
Googling it now. Is it like a?
It's the Iron Man Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. They've done a
Mhm.
lot of these like little like prop things and like Lego versions of like superhero masks and stuff.
Yep, yep, yep.
It's kind of
Well,
neat.
I already have like the Infinity Gauntlet itself. Okay. So I feel obligated to get the Nano Gauntlet.
Oh
So
yeah, I think you do.
yeah. So there's that. Plus they did a, the the big Starry Night Van Gogh painting. They've
Yeah,
done that in Lego, and I kind of want that as well.
that does look
Um,
really cool.
I would like to put that on a wall and just have it displayed, you know?
Yeah.
So, but I haven't looked to see what the pricing is on it, so I'm a little kind of sheepish about that. So,
I am
um, mhm,
I am interested in possibly getting Optimus,
mhm.
but I'm like
You
I
need that.
I think I do, but it's also like the price is like just a bit out of impulse buy territory for me because like Lego
Yeah.
isn't like my
Mhm.
go-to
Right.
thing. If it
Yep.
was
And
if it was like $100 or less, I would have already bought it. If it was less than 150, I probably would have got it. But the fact that
mhm,
it's over that is just like,
mhm,
and with shipping, is probably going to be putting it pretty damn close to 200. I'm just like, I drop a lot of stupid money on a lot of stupid things. Like I already talked about
oh,
the statue stuff, but it's like
mhm.
it's very specific stuff and a specific thing that I'm interested in. And this is
Right.
like
It's a
Lego
little out there.
Lego yeah, it's a little bit outside like my thing. Like
Mhm.
I've got a Lego Slave 1.
A Lego what?
A Lego Slave 1 or should I say Boba
Oh,
Fett
Slave One.
Starship? Yeah.
Yeah, Slave One. It just it sound you had it it run together so quickly I couldn't pick it up. That's all. But yeah, those are cool. My thing is Star Wars is just so nuts. I just don't want anything to do with that line. Um, they just get so
Oh yeah,
expensive
no.
and just they're so out there, and it's. I mean, I'm having a hard enough time with the modular series, you
Mhm.
know, and but those guys, I mean, like, granted, I bought in some for the Godson. I can't remember. I bought a TIE fighter for him. I think I bought Kylo Ren's TIE fighter, and I bought Vader's palace. And Vader's palace is just I bought it for $100 for him, and it has skyrocketed. I don't think he even knows how much that thing's worth now.
Oh man.
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool.
It's absolutely just I don't know how it was an impulse buy. I was like, oh, that'd be really cool for him, you know, and I went and got it, and um, not really knowing or thinking about like how much of a collectible it is. Um, but that some bitch is actually like highly sought out for now. So
I'm
like
just looking at it
almost
now and it's
um,
really cool too.
yeah. Um, and it would be like I would argue that it was like that one Deadpool set that I bought that you lost Deadpool to
Yeah, my friend Alicia
Alicia.
had, like
Yeah.
took the Deadpool and still has it. I'm like, one day
Yep.
when I visit her, I'm gonna steal it back.
At least you still have Wolverine though,
I
right?
do. Oh hell yeah, and Magneto.
And
Yeah,
Mags.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yep, yep. So, but yeah, just I think it's gonna be that one's gonna go that way. Um, and they're starting to sell Back to the Future again.
I saw that.
The car, which kind of irritates me a little bit, because it that kind of brings down the value of the one I have. So,
Ah, you're one of those people who get mad when the value of things drop on yours. Me, I don't
well,
give a shit about the value of the stuff that I have. I would rather everybody has it. Mostly because I don't buy things with the intent to sell, but it is useful when you have to. But I
see,
don't want to sell if I don't like generally.
it's not that I don't want to sell. That's not my intent. I'm one of those like individuals that I just get pretentious about my stuff in
Oh
that
yeah.
capacity, where I like the rare
Ah yeah.
aspect aspect of it. It's not that it's like cost more or anything like that. Like I have a white vision. How many people have like a Lego white vision? Okay,
I don't know.
he's cheap as shit. I saw him down there for like $10. Okay, down at like one of the Lego hobby stores that we have that's in Omaha. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and he's easy to get a hold of. It's not that big of a deal, but it's just the fact that you're not gonna see him regularly. You know, in other people's sets.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's the part that I'm like, that's why I wanted it. Okay.
Okay.
That's so it's just it's that aspect of it. Not that it costs much more. I'm not looking to resell or try to resell it. Because I love my shit too much to sell it.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, I just like the rarity or like the look of certain items versus what everybody else has. So
I think so many things that I already have are already so niche that like
mm-hmm.
99.9% of the people in the world aren't going to have.
Mm-hmm.
Or like everybody I hang out with, if they come over at
Mm-hmm.
my house and see my stuff, they'd be like, where the fuck did you get that? And I'd be like, everyone who's into this hobby knows where to get this shit. But if you're not into it, you don't know. And it's just like,
Right.
whoa. So like,
Yeah.
that's good enough
Mm-hmm.
for me, man.
Yeah. You discovered your hero clicks too.
That was fun. Yeah. That was digging out my old, like 15-year-old hero clicks. That was exciting to dig into and show my kids and be like, hey, look at this. It's these things that like I can't believe how much money I spent on HeroClix back in the day. Like it's one of the it is literally one of the only things that I look back on now and I'm like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? What was wrong with you?
I would argue that maybe you want to price some of that stuff out just out of
No,
curiosity.
because they're like they retire things to the point where they can't even be used in tournaments anymore. They're not tournament legal after a certain point anymore, so they're not like.
Oh, that's horse shit.
So like they become way less valuable.
Gotcha.
After like a couple of years.
Yeah, because that was one thing. Because I was watching it being played one time, and it was just for fun,
mm-hmm.
and it looked really cool.
It's
you know,
an awesome game. It is absolutely awesome.
But one of the things I noted, because I thought they were just really cool looking. Okay, just the way the little statues are, and you know how they're fighting poses and everything, and I think somebody wanted to look at them. They weren't mine; they're someone else's, and they actually flat out said no, because like then you would know like the weaknesses and stuff because they would turn the dials.
Oh, I mean, who gives a shit? Like that's
weird. I just looked at it because it was just like a novel concept, and I was like, oh, this is cool, you know.
I mean, it's like the stats go
strategy.
Down. Yeah, I mean, like, stats go down. Who gives a shit?
Right. Yeah.
Thinking about it too much.
Mm-hmm. But that was my argument. Was like just some of the stuff that they had. I mean, and they had like they didn't have the Phoenix, but they had Rachel Summers' Phoenix. So and she just leveled the playing field for the most part.
Oh yeah.
Even if it's Supergirl.
It was a fun game, and if I had a crew, I would still probably play. I just wouldn't spend like as much money that I spent on like the rare to come by pieces back in the day. Like I sold off a lot of them when I was getting out of it and made some of that money back, but like it was still like I didn't need to spend $40 on a fucking Kingdom Come Flash back in the day.
Yes, I don't give a shit. It's Kingdom Come.
I don't give a shit about Kingdom Come or Flash. I never used it. I just had it. It was
I'm guessing it
dumb.
Probably came with a set or a collection.
No, I bought it by itself.
Why? You hate the Flash. Well, you don't hate him.
No, the Flash is cool.
He's not your guy. No.
I just thought it was cool at the time, and I was like, this would be cool to use, and then I never used it.
What the hell's wrong with you, man?
Yeah, exactly. A lot of things, as is obvious. Speaking of things that are very wrong, we should probably get to the subject at hand for this episode.
Why?
Well, that's because we're damn Chocobo.
Oh, okay.
don't really need me. Oh, you're only everything I ever dreamed of.
Jake, what the fuck did we play? What the fuck was next on our list to play?
Kingdom Hearts 3.
I just took a drink of water, dude. Oh my god. Kingdom Hearts 3. What?
Yes.
A legendary game.
Absolutely. I think it was like, what, 10 to 12 years in the making?
Yeah.
Actually, I think it was longer than that.
It was. It was enough. It was in development long enough for me to fall out of love with the franchise, re-fall in love with the franchise because of the podcast, and re-fall out of love with the franchise again. Like,
wow. See, I didn't have that. It was always something in the back of the mind, you know?
Yeah.
Like, from what they alluded to and everything. And so I'm trying to remember when Kingdom Hearts 2 was released. Like
8 billion years ago.
Yeah, it was. I gotta look this up.
Kingdom Hearts 2 came out December 22nd, 2005?
Let's double check that. In Japan.
Yeah.
But for North America, it actually came out March 28th, 2006.
Okay.
And I remember that because, like, I got that sumbitch the day it came out and played it for like a fucking month. I binged the shit out of that game. But after that, here we are, what? 12? No.
Kingdom Hearts 3 released in the United States January 25th, 2019. So
2019. So that would have been 13 years later.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I mean, I was anticipating that shit like 2009-ish, 2010-ish, and the time just kept rolling. It's like, where the fuck?
I still to this day hypothesize. You know what? Let's touch on a little bit of details on the game. It came out January 2019, right?
Yep.
Worldwide, roughly the same time. Came out a couple days later in some areas.
Sure.
A year after that, the DLC came out. Like, rather than, which was kind of an interesting twist, because traditionally with Kingdom Hearts games, they would release a year later a new version of the game, like the original. It was like Final Mix, and this time, rather than do a Final Mix re-release, they did a DLC, which basically upgraded it to its own Final Mix version, which is interesting to me. I think that's cool. The story-wise, it obviously takes place after Kingdom Hearts 2, but not just Kingdom Hearts 2. It's a direct follow-up to the 3DS game Dream Drop Distance.
Gotcha,
It also was the first one, I believe, that released on multiple consoles. Like, it was not just PlayStation that it came out on. It also came out on Xbox One, I believe.
And the Switch.
It didn't come out at the time.
No, not at that time.
Switch. No. It came out, and the way it came out on Switch is total bullshit anyway. So don't ever play it on the Switch.
Okay.
Don't ever. They didn't even actually officially start working on it, according to Tetsuya Nomura, the director and main character designer, until he was working on Final Fantasy 15.
Oh, wow.
So he would work on those two kind of concurrently, back and forth, which I thought was interesting.
A little bit.
So I know there was a lot of rumors about Marvel and Star Wars being in it at the time, but he also addressed that saying
no.
There was, because it was so early on in the Disney merger with that stuff, that it wasn't quite
right.
You know, it make a ton of sense to do so. Also, this was one of the first times that they didn't. Around this time, Square started using external game engines versus building ones in house, which was smart, and that's part of the reason they were able to actually start releasing games again. For a while there, it felt like there'd be like 8 billion years between games, and now they're like giving up on developing their own in-house engines instead of using like Unreal's Epic or the Epic's Unreal Engine and shit like that. I think that's kind of the notable shit. Like, obviously, there's the returning. Oh god, and I'm gonna say her fucking name wrong, but Itada Hikaru.
Yeah.
The famous Japanese pop singer who
Right.
returned for this
1 and 2.
this game. I think they came out of retirement for it.
Did they? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So.
That's intriguing.
Yeah, good for them.
Yeah. Good deal.
Yeah. They're also coming back for 4, but that's a totally separate thing. Yep. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of, just a little teeny bit of history. My history with this game was bafflement for a long time about, 1, why is it taking so long? 2, why are they not just naming these other games Kingdom Hearts 3? Because I would go back and play these other games, like when they started doing the re-releases, like on the collections.
Okay.
And like Dream Drop Distance and like Birth by Sleep both felt plot-wise relevant enough to have earned a number. Like you could have named Birth by Sleep Kingdom Hearts 3 and nobody would have been the wiser. The only reason I think that they didn't, and Dream Drop Distance was I think 3DS game. I think the reason why they didn't is because they probably wanted to keep the numbered entries to main major console releases, and because those others were handhelds, they didn't want to give them a number. I think it's kind of like the same thing why Metal Gear, when they did Peace Walker, Kojima said this is a Metal Gear 5 caliber game, but they didn't make it Metal Gear 5. They saved that for the next major console release.
Gotcha.
So I think that's just like a Japanese company thing where like we don't want to put a numbered game out on like a handheld because they're just inherently
inferior.
Yeah, they can be, but plot wise they can be just as relevant. So yeah, I don't know. Interesting, just perspective there, but it always bugged me a little bit. And this game was also the game that I had on pre-order longer than anything else I've ever had on pre-order in history. I pre-ordered it like 5 years before it came out on Amazon. And it just sat there.
That must be frustrating.
It was so frustrating. Like there would be times where I would have all my fucking stuff on Amazon. Like, I'd go look and if everything's like received or about to ship or something. And occasionally that would literally be my only pending thing. And I'd be like, fuck you. And then it came out, and I was really busy at the time.
Yep, so you didn't even play it for a year at least.
I didn't even have time to jump into it right away. And then while I was, because news was coming out about it, it was clear that there wasn't really the same degree of Final Fantasy crossovering as I was used to in the series. And I've talked about this on the show before.
Yep. You were put off by it.
It really it kind of drained a little bit of my drive, and I realized that connection really did matter to me. Later I came to realize that it's really important to me, but the games can still stand on their own, like their own in-world characters and stuff like that, but it does suck when that's not there. But like a lot of when I went back and I would play Dream Drop Distance, Birth by Sleep, Chain of Memories. They none of those have heavy Final Fantasy influence either. Like it's generally super, super minor. And didn't really bother me as much there. So like now looking at it, I can be like, well, maybe it's not that big of a deal. But for the longest time, it definitely was something that majorly put me off. So
yeah, I could see that a little bit. I mean, I didn't like the Gull Wings, the way they did the Gull Wings in 2, I think it was.
It was...
I thought that was kind of weak.
I mean, I kind of want them all to be a little bit goofy. Like, I don't mind how them do weird shit with them. Like,
I don't mind Goofy, but that one just with them like a quarter of their size or whatever.
They were like the equivalent of like fairies or something.
Yeah, like the fairy godmothers.
It was it's super strange, but
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever, okay.
I liked. I had no problem with all the other characters or the only thing, and I guess the other thing that kind of bothers me a little bit is because it's heavily like you have your own interpretation of what's going on. They kept alluding that there was a deeper backstory between Sephiroth, Cloud, and Tifa, but they never really nailed what was going on down between those three.
I mean, that was one of the things that put me off. Right now I'm looking at my little toy shelf display that's in my room on my recording desk. And the only Final Fantasy representation I have here is Kingdom Hearts, Cloud, and Sephiroth.
Right.
Like, I'm looking at them right now. Like, so, like, that relationship in whatever form it takes place in always matters to me. It jumps to the forefront, even if it's a subplot, which it was in the Kingdom Hearts games. But in Kingdom Hearts 2, they gave it a little bit more. They built it up a lot more.
Yes, but they
didn't. And Cloud in 1 got a little more focus than any of the other Final Fantasy characters, to the point where he felt a little more important. And it wasn't like it was a subplot. It wasn't like super critical to the main path.
Right.
But it felt important to the story. And then in 2, they followed up on that. Like, it's like they're doing their own like spin-off of that sort of tale.
Yeah.
And to kind of leave that dangling with 3 kind of turns me off a little bit. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you started this thing and then you're just not going to deal with it now?
Yeah.
Like, obviously we can all put 2 and 2 together. Like, what are they doing? But like, it bugs me.
Yeah, that's the 2 big issues I have with the Final Fantasy characters. I would have definitely.
It's obviously not about those characters, but at the same time, this game exists because of those characters.
Right.
It started as a like Final Fantasy Disney crossover, essentially.
Right.
So to cut that out feels like it's cutting out a piece of the DNA.
Well, I look at it as, okay, you had the ice cream. The Final Fantasy characters were the topping, the hot chocolate. You know, they were cool. You know, they made it well rounded. Otherwise, you just got the ice cream, and that's it's nice and all, but it really
it's like the cookie dough, the chocolate chip cookie dough that's in the ice cream
I like I said, I would just, it's the nuts or not necessarily the sprinkles, but the hot fudge, or you have your syrups or whatever you have, just to lace on top of it. That just really brings it all together. But that's just kind of my perspective. After playing, like, with my own experience with 3, obviously I was really pissed off that it took so long, much like Rich. I was smarter than he was, though. I wouldn't just sit there. I didn't pre-order it and wait for it for 10 years. But I went in and I would constantly rewatch the trailers for it periodically, like every couple of years. I'd be like, God, when's this game coming out? And at one point I just lost faith in it. I was just like, it's never coming. Stop deluding yourself, Jake. Stop thinking about it. It's not going to happen. And then they finally did, and I was like, holy shit, this is going to be awesome. And I played it because I played it at my grandmother's, my grandparents' house, and that was like a month before I moved into this one because of the date that it came out, which was really just kind of surprising a little bit, because I was like, Rich, you got to play it. What are you doing, buddy? And you're like, I'll play it, just not right now. I'm like, okay. And then and then the year that year came around, and Remind came in, and Remind to me sets this game off. Okay. Without Remind, it was a good game, and it's like, whatever, But Remind, I really liked what they did with it, and how they enhanced the game. And I'm starting to see, like, there was portions that I played through it the first time. I swear are not in that game now, or are in that game now that weren't in it before. Like there was some things that I just don't remember coming across when I was playing, and now I'm like, whoa, where'd this scene come from? I don't remember this at all, type situation. So
Yeah.
but I don't know if it does or does not. I mean, I'd like to think that they added more into the game itself, but who really knows, to be honest? So at least I can't tell if it was added or not, but it seems like it. So, but yeah, long time waiting for the fucking game, and I'm glad it came out, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I do have a complaint, and I'll save it for when we're done with the game itself. Before, I don't want to spoil it as far as my thoughts on it, and it might change maybe with the second playthrough. So
Sweet.
Sweet, Rich.
At this point, I feel like it's probably worth doing a rundown of previous games in the history of Kingdom Hearts, because we played a bunch of them.
You played a bunch of them.
I've played all of them to some degree, or at least watched the story. Jake has only played Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts 2, and now Kingdom Hearts 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, good luck.
Yeah, there's facets that I am missing with that.
And I feel like this is an opportunity for me to fill in some of those holes. But Jake,
Rich,
if you can kind of fill in the audience on what is the kind of basic outline of what happens in Kingdom Hearts 1. Do you remember what happens in Kingdom Hearts 1? I wrote some notes earlier that we can reference, but like if you want to use that or not, but I feel like your own flavor for
my own.
You can kind of cover the two games you played. You can cover, and I will do super short versions of the others.
Wow, you just cut out everything in the notes.
I did not. I don't know what happened there. I had to revert to a previous version. So
wow.
I'll restore this version because I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
So there we go. I restored the previous version now.
Yeah. So like Kingdom Hearts 1, there's a lot of like mystery of like what's going on because you're being introduced to a new universe in its entirety. There's a lot of like integrations with Final Fantasy characters that are leveraged in a capacity like as sub characters or like one-dimensional characters, despite knowing that they are well-rounded in other games. They don't dive, but they're a great addition in that capacity. But ultimately, the story is surrounded by three different people. One is Sora, the other one's Riku and Kairi, and they all originate on the Destiny Islands, and they're all real young. I would say you can argue that they're probably just in their adolescent age, maybe even a little bit younger than that, and they are and something devastating happens to it, and they all get split up in a sense through this one action on Destiny Island, and before that event takes place, they all kind of there's a lot of competitive or competition between Riku and Sora, and Kairi they've never really fully leaned into the love interest, but it's heavily hinted at regarding it, even at that age. But they ultimately their main focus in it is really like friendship between the three, and they kind of like Sora and Kairi really set up a connection with each other before this big enveloping event to Destiny Islands happens. And basically, what happens is that you find that you're looking for the seven princesses of heart, if you will. I think it is. And you're fighting these things that are called heartless, and they want to like use the seven princesses of heart to open up Kingdom Hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And
what is Kingdom Hearts?
I've still yet to figure that one out, to be honest.
Based on my research, it is either a world, a force, or an entity of limitless power that various what appear to be individuals, but later appear to be less so, want to acquire or use, or
they're power hungry, basically.
Yeah. It's kind of it's some vague thing. It's kind of a MacGuffin, but it's just superpower. Somebody wants to get the super ultimate mega god thing that will make them ultimate everything
and be able to control everything.
Yeah.
So, because there's a lot of concepts that they introduce in this game, in this first game. One is a heart, and the fact that you can unlock a heart, so to speak.
Yeah.
And
I feel like that was something that I was like, you know what? Do you want to get into that now? Those two weird ass. There's so much in this series that is like fucking ridiculous. It's not even. It's just like it can very quickly get convoluted if you get lost in the minutia. Right.
Well, the two concepts that you have to understand throughout all the games is the fact that you can you're given a keyblade and you can unlock a heart, okay? Or you can unlock a world or lock it up, either way, one of the two.
Yeah. And a heart, when people refer to their heart, it is another vague. It's kind of like your soul, but kind of not. It's just like your inner being, man.
Right. So, but the first part of Kingdom Hearts is Sora takes I would argue that Sora kind of takes a path of light, Riku kind of takes a path of darkness, and Kairi is kind of stuck in the middle between these two, and they're both looking for her. And there's some other little plot things that come into play along with it that lead up to the other games in a sense. But it all starts from this point on and just branch out, so to speak.
That is kind of like what you need to know for Kingdom Hearts 1 is basically that.
Without also being too spoilery.
Yeah. And also the main bad guy is a guy named Ansem.
Yep.
Kingdom Hearts, the sequel to this is Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, later Rechain of Memories, that was like a 3D redo of it. And this game is a glorified redo / it's kind of like a redux of the events of Kingdom Hearts 1 while also being a huge setup for Kingdom Hearts 2. It mostly serves the purpose of reusing a lot of like assets, story concepts, character designs, and plot points from Kingdom Hearts 1 while also introducing Organization 13, this group of mysterious black-robed dudes
who look totally badass, in my opinion.
Who all look totally fucking badass.
But they're not.
And who, surprise, they want control of Kingdom Hearts. In the process of this, Sora loses his memories and needs to be put in stasis. Meanwhile, Riku appears at this same fucking castle that he was in, and his plotline deals with him dealing with being corrupted by the darkness in Kingdom Hearts 1. And he kind of has this, like, personal revelation that he's not totally broken and he can use the darkness for good. Like, just because you have darkness doesn't mean you're evil.
Right.
And so he can use that to help his friends. And another notable thing is that this also introduces the character Naminé, who is just not relevant right now. She's just vaguely important.
Right. Yeah.
But she's introduced kind of during this game as well. That leads directly into Kingdom Hearts 2, where Jake, how does that open?
It opens.
Or what is that game about, basically?
Well, there's one particular action that takes place in the original Kingdom Hearts that this one kind of gets set off on a pond. And you're introduced to a character named Roxas. And you start to kind of understand a little bit of what Roxas is and what he does.
And props to Kingdom Hearts. I think this is a super ballsy move.
Mm-hmm.
It opens Kingdom Hearts 2 featuring this Roxas character who you have never heard of.
Right. Yeah.
And does not touch on Kingdom Hearts 1 at all.
Nope.
For like a little bit. You're just completely like, what the fuck is going on? For the first little bit. It's brilliant. Go on.
And out of this entire storyline throughout all the games, Roxas is actually my favorite character. Just to set that one up. So, but yeah, but yeah, you end up following him for the first part of it, and it sort of draws on some of the events that took place at Chain of Memories, and what's occurring there. You find that they are trying to still kind of put Sora back together, so to speak, for the first part of the game, for the very first part of the game, I would say. And then you come across some major events and some discoveries about what happened, an event that happened in Kingdom Hearts 1, and pretty much lights up the backstory of Roxas in that capacity. And you continue and you change over to Sora as he awakens, and you find out that you're dealing with a lot of aftermath of Roxas and some of the individuals that were left behind because of him. And it really kind of develops upon that, and you start fighting Organization 13 more, and you really start to kind of you're actually, this one's kind of more of a search for Riku more than anything. I mean, Kairi's there, don't get me wrong, but you're actually looking more for Riku at this point than you are Kairi. It actually really builds upon that the concept of friendship between the characters and their relationships to each other. So thoroughly enjoyable. It is a great game. But you travel through the worlds again, just like you did the first Kingdom Hearts, and you're locking up worlds and whatnot. But it's the search for Riku in a sense, and trying to figure out where he is, what he's doing, what happened to him between Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2. So, and it alludes to in my opinion, it's one of the most magnificent trailers I've ever seen. I love it every time I watch it, but it was the hidden trailer in Kingdom Hearts 1 where you see two individuals that are kind of dressed up like Organization 13 a little bit, and they end up kind of going at each other briefly. So
yes, Kingdom Hearts does a really good job of having these hidden trailers at the end of the game that hint towards the next game.
Yep.
And every time I see one of those, I think this looks cool as shit, and I bet Square has absolutely fucking no idea what any of this means yet.
But
I mean, I remember Trenchcoat Mickey and be like, what the fuck? Hot Topic Mickey?
Yeah, Hot Topic Mickey. Blindfolded dude is able to fight without even knowing what's going on.
Yeah, it's just the whole... And everyone's like, is that Riku? What the fuck is going on?
It looks like Riku, but why does he have a blindfold on? And how is he able to fight these guys without being able to see?
Nuts. Absolutely nuts.
And they're running up a freaking building, and then there's this guy that's wielding two keyblades. Where the fuck did he come from, you know?
And all of that you end up kind of seeing in Kingdom Hearts 2. Yeah,
and they allude to it they go into it, and they you find out the reasoning. You find out who they both are and why they're doing what they're doing, and it is totally cool. You get the introduction of Naminé a little bit, who she's freaking awesome in my opinion too, but it's a little bit sad to what happens to her and Roxas, but you know, it is what it is. So
I mean, it's probably relevant to point out that at this point, a lot of this game deals with the concept of nobodies and like what happens when somebody becomes a Heartless, and like what happens is a person is basically split into two.
Yep.
Where part of their being becomes a Heartless and part of their being becomes a nobody. And this game like is basically like your main villain's organization 13 is a team of nobodies. So it's a bunch of people who lost their hearts and who are working for a guy who are all after Sora. And wanted Roxas as well.
Yeah.
So
did
you remember why they wanted those dudes?
Well, I vaguely remember why they wanted Rock. Well, I think it surrounds the Keyblade itself in this scenario. Because both individuals are able to wield the Keyblade.
Yeah, I mean, they have that, and they want to use them to access Kingdom Hearts.
Right.
It's like a combination of the fact that he can use Kingdom Hearts and the fact that, and this is a thing that they keep building on throughout these games, Sora has some sort of special heart.
Yeah.
Like it's like his superpower, like his heart. Like, and they don't mean literally the thing in his chest that pumps blood, but like the way he emotionally connects with people is like almost otherworldly, and they kind of dig into it more in the later games.
Yeah.
So also the main villain of the first game, Ansem. He's not actually Ansem. You meet the real Ansem in this, who's like an old fucker, and the first game's Ansem was a young white-haired fella who looks suspiciously similar to the leader of Organization 13, who's a guy named Xemnas.
Right.
Yeah. They follow up on some of these weird coincidences and questions in Birth by Sleep, originally released on PSP and later in the package deals. This is a prequel before all of the games, and it focuses on an entirely new crew of Keyblade wielding dudes named Aqua, Ventus, and Terra. And it's worth noting, suspiciously, Ventus looks very similar to our old boy, Sora. So, did we touch on who Roxas was at all in Kingdom Hearts 2? Because that'll be relevant here too.
Well, I didn't spoil it.
Oh, it is. I feel like it's important to understand in Kingdom Hearts 3 that Roxas is Sora's nobody.
Right.
In the process of Kingdom Hearts 1, there's a scene where Sora
becomes a Heartless.
He gives up his heart in order to do something for Kairi.
Save Kairi.
And so you play around as like a little Heartless Sora for a while there. And
that's brutal too.
And they basically this gives birth to this new character, Roxas, who then, because of the events of Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, Roxas is reintegrated into Sora to give him his memories back.
Yeah.
So they're literally this kind of the same person, but not quite. And so there's like the same voice actor, I think, does Ventus and Roxas, I think.
Haley Joel Osment? Cool.
Well, he does Sora.
That's Sora. I thought you said okay, yeah. Anyways.
Now I gotta double check that because it sounds like the same dude.
But in Kingdom Hearts 2, you're actually doing a lot of...
Yes.
People are accusing you of being Roxas, so to speak. Yeah. They recognize you as Roxas. They don't know who Sora is. They don't care who Sora is. They always... Organization 13 just constantly says, you're putting people in a pickle. You're causing all kinds of trouble, Roxas. And in reality, you're playing as Sora, and it gets annoying after a while.
For everybody. During Birth by Sleep, those 3 new characters you play as, they stumble across a very familiar plot. This time by a new ex-dude, Xehanort, who, guess what, plans to take over Kingdom Hearts.
Say it ain't so.
Who would have believed it? And through that, their trials and interesting about him, he's a fellow Keyblade wielder. He's a fellow what is it?
Keyblade Master.
Yeah, Keyblade Master. That he betrays the Order, and essentially this great conflict.
He wasn't necessarily looking for Kingdom Hearts. He was looking for the I can't think of the correct term.
You're gonna say the Keyblade, right?
Yeah,
the X that's pronounced Keyblade, which is what will give him access and control of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah,
it's just another they love to. I've said this earlier. Kingdom Hearts can be made understandable, the plot. But from the outside, or if you've been away from it long enough, it just becomes fucking incoherent because there's so much.
It circles upon itself a lot. Yeah.
There's a lot of circling back on itself, a lot of ridiculous terminology, a lot of fluff that's not relevant. And some of it's just cool lore, but like you don't know what's important from the outside. So like,
right.
It's one of those things that can be very convoluted. And it really is convoluted. It's just
Absolutely.
when you're in it. When you're in it, like it's
it makes
easy
sense.
yeah. It's one of those things. It's kind of like comic books or Metal Gear or Final Fantasy. From the outside, it looks like nonsense. From the inside, you're like, I know how this puzzle goes together. So anyway, in the process of this game, they do Terra, Ventus, and Aqua end up defeating Xehanort. But in the process, of the game, he has corrupted Terra to be kind of fall to the dark side, uses this to take over Terra. So he like possesses Terra's body when his old man body dies. Terra Xehanort gets defeated and split into two because his Heartless is removed.
Okay.
Whom you then learn is his Heartless is Kingdom Hearts 1's Ansem. And his Nobody is Kingdom Hearts 2's Xemnas. Ventus's heart, he gets beaten to death nearly, and his heart somehow ends up in a young Sora. I don't know why. It just does. It's a weird fucking thing. It's like little kid Sora gets his heart.
Well, doesn't Xehanort split, like... Is it Ventus? I think he splits to Vanitas, I think.
You know what? Listen, I'm not prepared to get into that. There's another guy whose name's Ventus who looks suspiciously like Sora. Like, I don't know. It's already complicated enough. Aqua gets stranded in the Realm of Darkness, which is a dark world, which she traveled to defeat Terra's possessed Xehanort possessed Terra, causing the split. After he split, one of the split versions of Xehanort, and I think it's the fake Ansem version, his Nobody, travels back in time somehow and gives his younger self the ability to time travel and the knowledge of what's going to happen.
Wow.
How? Why? I don't know. He could have done that so many other things with time travel, and instead he went to a little version of himself and said, hey, you fuckwad, you should go evil sooner than you did before. Like, I don't know, man.
Wow.
It's ridiculous.
It is.
That leads to Kingdom Hearts 285 over 2 days. Did I say that right?
I thought it was 365 by 2.
Son of a fucking bitch. I don't remember. It's a number by a number days. This is backstories on Roxas's days in Organization 13. It literally starts right after his creation when Sora turns himself into a Heartless.
Mm-hmm.
And it leads itself right up to the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2 when you play as Roxas in that like silly town. It's kind of only notable for kind of giving you a little bit more backstory on what was going on inside Organization 13, as well as setting up the super bro shit between Axel and Roxas, as well as introducing their like third party of their crew, which is I think Xion, who is she looks like Kairi with black hair almost exactly, but she's actually some like hybrid replica of Sora and Roxas that Organization 13 created in case they could not take advantage of Sora or Roxas to get the power of Kingdom Hearts. Convoluted nonsense. I don't know. In the end, he has to like fight and kill her. Roxas has to defeat her, and then he quits Organization 13 and goes to the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2. This leads to Kingdom Hearts 2.5 coded, or recoded when they did it later. This is a game that is... God, if you think what I said before was ridiculous. This takes place after Kingdom Hearts 2. The Disney crew, who we kind of avoided talking about, but it's King Mickey and Donald and Goofy, who are like Sora's like right-hand dudes. Discover, along with Jiminy Cricket, who is like your in-game quest guide. He's the guy who like fills in your quest log. that there's extra shit in his journal that he didn't write. And so they come up with this ridiculous idea to digitize the journal, which creates digital versions of everyone and everything Jiminy has ever put in his journal.
Okay.
So like a digital fake version of every event and person and thing from Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, Chain of Memories, all that shit. And then they task the fake digital Sora with investigating and fixing the fucking weird corrupted data in this. And it turns out these bugs are remnants of whatever happened when Naminé fixed Sora
Okay.
and like flushed out his memories. And this basically gives them the information that Sora, like his ability to connect with people goes beyond just like an emotional connection and people trust him, but also it's like some weird metaphysical way where like he has like copies of everyone inside of his heart or something. I think that's pretty much what it was trying to, and I could be totally wrong, but that's how I understood it. This basically leads to the information that they can resurrect everyone who's ever died.
Oh, okay.
And that because Sora killed both the Nobody and Heartless of Xehanort, somehow this means he can be resurrected too in kind of a similar way. What the fuck?
Up.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just like, and again, I could be misunderstanding, but from what my research double checked, that's kind of what it came down to. Nonsense. Kind of awesome. Fucking nonsense. What this tells me is that Square Enix was like, fuck. We came up with like 13 awesome bad guys and we killed them all. And then we came up with a bunch of cool heroes and we killed them. And then some of them that were just like fan favorites, like Axel. Man, we killed him too. We really made a lot of horrible mistakes, so let's fix it with this. This leads to Kingdom Hearts 2.5 Dream Drop Distance for the 3DS, and later they made a version of it in the compilation versions. Yep. Sora and Riku go on their final test to the Mark of Mastery to become Keyblade Masters, and their final test, which is very different from the final test of the dudes in Dream Drop Distance.
You mean
they get sent?
Sleep?
Yeah, Birth by Sleep. Sorry, Sora and too many words. Sora and Riku get put to sleep and sent into dream versions of past game worlds. And there they run into versions of fake Ansem, Xemnas, and young Xehanort, and learn that the real goal of Organization 13 is to have all those dudes in Organization 13 are actually a bunch of empty vessels for Xehanort to possess, like he did to Terra in Birth by Sleep.
Ooh, okay.
So there's a gajillion copies of Xehanort. They're all just Xehanort clones of different bodies, basically.
Okay.
Which is insane. It's the same. Like, what the fuck? So you have young version of a guy, half of the dude who's a full dude in fake Ansem. Xemnas, who's another like half of that dude who's his own guy, and then all of their bros are just other versions of Xehanort's mind in other bodies. And they want to, there's something about using these dudes in a battle against 7 mythical Keyblade warriors to recreate the Keyblade, as in the X-Blade, pronounced Keyblade, right. Which I assume will give them power to Kingdom Hearts, like everything. At this point, in the end of the game, Sora and Riku are rescued by all of your kind of bros in the previous games, including, so it's Donald, Mickey, Goofy, Kairi. Now Axel is back. He shows up and he's going by the name Leah, which right away in Kingdom Hearts 3 they're like, that was stupid. He's Axel again. Spoilers. They chase those guys off, and in the end Sora fails the exam.
Yep.
Because he nearly gets possessed by Organization 13. And Riku passes. And the secret ending of this game kind of touches on that, like, they need 7 Keyblade Warriors to fulfill this prophecy or whatever to beat Organization 13, but they only have 6.
Ooh.
And I don't know which 6 they're referring to, because I count at that point Sora, Riku, Mickey, Kairi, who was introduced at that point as training, and Axel, who they've introduced as training to be a Keyblade Warrior.
Okay.
And then, that's 5. And then I guess that leaves Aqua, who's lost in the Dark World at this point. Because that leads also into Kingdom Hearts 0.2, a fragmentary passage, which is just was almost many ways kind of added in the last compilation game as like a tech demo for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Okay.
And it's just Aqua bumbling around and battling in the world of darkness. And she eventually ends up teaming up with Mickey, who was also in the world of darkness, who's kind of like trying to find out what the fuck's going on. And because I don't even remember why. He's just there. And in the end, he tries to lead her out, but they need to close the door, and they have to do it on both sides. So Mickey gets out and closes it on his end, and Aqua stays on her end and closes it from her end. So
Gotcha.
that's that. So she's still stuck, and Mickey knows it.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of leads us to now. There's also a whole bunch of mobile games.
Yeah.
There's Chi, Unchained Chi, Back Cover, Union Cross. I have no idea what any of this bullshit is. I just know that it's super, super backstory, like before Birth by Sleep, with like the founding history of Keyblade mastery and the origins of the heart, the Kingdom Hearts, I imagine. I'm just guessing. I have no fucking idea. So, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either.
I'm sure it's very cool.
It'd probably be interesting. The other thing that kind of gets me, like some of those offshoots as far as like Chain of Memories and some of those other functions, is that the gameplay is a lot different than what the numbered games are like. So
No, it is not.
It is not. You don't
No,
play
it
with
is not.
cards in Chain of Memories?
That is the only one you do, and mechanically, it's almost the exact same as Kingdom Hearts 1. There are just cards.
Weird.
Your combat, like, you think it's not like a card game like Magic the Gathering. It's just, instead of scrolling through like a menu, like how the attack menu in Kingdom Hearts is designed very reminiscent of like a Final Fantasy battle menu. Instead of going through that, you pick cards out of a deck to attack or cast spells. And Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance are literally where all the cool new combat stuff came from for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Okay.
So all the cool new, like, hitting triangle to do these new abilities, and like you beat up on somebody and it unlocks a new special move and shit, and the ability to change out what the special moves are, that all comes from those games.
I would argue that it would come from Kingdom Hearts 2 as well, because there was some actions in there that were that you had to hit triangle for in that capacity as well. It was few and far between, though.
Those were few and far between, and you kind of picked them as like an ability thing, and then this is like, it's different but similar. Like whenever you get around to playing those someday, and hey, maybe we'll do them another day for the show, but they kind of built. It's almost a direct like lineage to Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, I'm actually shocked how much from those was carried over to Kingdom Hearts 3. So
interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the previous game's backstory, and that is a lot.
Yes,
so
it is.
I suppose that probably leads us into. That's up to you, Jay. Do you want to shut it down? We should probably stop right now. We'll do another episode shortly after this, because that was so much build up.
And
we will start over with our next episode with the very beginning.
We're doing a beginning
of Kingdom Hearts 3 up through Twilight Town.
Yeah, Twilight Town. Not Traverse Town, Twilight Town.
Twilight Town, yes. So
I never understood the difference. They're kind of the same in a sense. Same concept, but whatever.
I mean, kind of.
A little bit.
I mean, I don't know, man.
I think you do. You're just holding out on me.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Jake, do you have any other final comments before we let people go?
Nothing except the fact that it does get confusing as shit.
It really does. That's kind of why I felt the need to go through this.
Yeah.
Because like going into like even for you, like I imagine that you picked up on some of this just from playing Kingdom Hearts 3, because from what I've played, they touch on some of it. But like there's important context in some of these like sub games.
Yes.
Because otherwise, like, you don't know who half these fucking characters are. The main villain of the game is not named in a main numbered game until Kingdom Hearts 3. But he has appeared in multiple games before then. Like,
Okay.
you don't even know his deal until you play those games. Like,
Wow.
like Xehanort.
Yeah.
Like later, those games are the ones that reveal the bad guys from 1 and 2 were just halves of him. Like,
Okay.
it feels like they wrote themselves into a corner / like didn't really know. Like after Kingdom Hearts 2, they're like, I mean, this is a franchise now, so we got to keep fucking going.
Mm-hmm.
But what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
So, and in typical Kingdom Hearts fashion, they got to end everything with like a little like CG
Yeah.
teaser for what's next in the lore / game. So,
Yeah.
they are. It's a fascinating series. It's so weird in terms of like
Yes.
what it is, how it works, how they handle these.
Because there's a lot of circling. A lot of circling.
A lot of that, a lot of fluff. Like the whole Disney element to it is largely fluff.
Yeah. To an extent, yeah. Same with Final Fantasy, though.
Yeah. So I don't know.
It's weird that they didn't put 3 in there, or put Final Fantasy in the third one.
Super weird. Well, they did later in the DLC.
There? I don't remember.
From what I was told, they have a lot. They're back and have a more prominent role in that. But either way, we'll see that as we play through this thing. Looking forward to getting into it. Spoiler:
Absolutely.
We've already gotten into it. We just don't have time to talk about it right now because it's too fucking long. So
Yes.
we will record again soon, guys. It's summer. Enjoy your summer, motherfuckers. Enjoy. Give them something to enjoy, Jake.
I don't know. You put me on the spot here.
Happy Pride.
Yes.
It's June now. Happy.
Hope you had a good Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, hope you had a good Memorial weekend. Happy fucking X-Men Hellfire Gala 2.0 is starting this summer. Fuck yes for the comic book readers. I'm just gonna ramble on about nonsense. So.
Oh, okay.
Fuck off, all y'all.
Yeah. Fuck off!
Just fuck off.
In infamy, where dissonance remains. We score the final scene, adrenaline now coursing through our veins. Long live our symphony, its infantry survived 1,000 suns. Silent, they still attack, we fire back with notes instead of guns. We echo, reverberate, then leave them behind. Landmines composing command lines, amplify or die at us or them. This enclave tearing through the airwaves, screaming a war-torn requiem. Be not afraid.
Jake,
Rich.
I am thrilled we got a chance to record again.
Yes.
And I'm extremely thrilled to hear what you could possibly pick as a dedication this episode.
What can you pick as a dedication to this episode? I
mean,
I really don't.
You can literally pick anything from any Kingdom Hearts game.
I pick Rich. Rich is the dedication to this episode.
Oh, thanks, man. I'm kind of flattered about that. Thank you very much. I dedicate this episode to myself as well because I am quite great. Apologies to everybody about these last couple episodes coming out way after they've been recorded. I will absolutely try to get the next episode, the previous episode, I should say, the music episode, out as soon as possible. You're hearing this after that episode's coming out, so I am pre-saying that I hope I get it out in a timely fashion. So you listening to this will already know if I have. Is that complicated? It's no more complicated than Kingdom Hearts.
I was gonna say, yeah, you're just leaning into the theme here at this point. So
exactly. Jake, did you find Moon Knight very complicated?
I didn't watch Moon Knight.
Get the fuck out of here! You're fired. You're fucking fired.
Finally! I was trying so hard for so long, and I couldn't get fired.
Oh damn it! I was supposed to tell you to step into my office because you're fucking fired. God damn it! People, I don't know if people realize this, but me and Jake could, for whatever reason, we end up quoting "There's something about Mary."
Yeah.
Somewhat frequently. How to get the beans above the frank? I don't know why. It just happens.
Frank the beans! Frank the beans!
Is that hair gel?
Yeah.
Jake, don't you know you gotta clear out the baby batter first?
Oh my god, he does. Before a big, I can't remember what he says, but it's before a big date.
What the fuck
You're
is
going in there with a loaded weapon, man.
That's it. You're going in there with a loaded weapon. That's what I was trying to get.
Oh gosh, that's awful. And don't forget that Mary is a Niners fan. Okay?
We gotta bleed her.
Wow. Just wow. Yeah, I just picked up. What does he say when he's with the hitchhiker? He stumbles across a bunch of guys. Yeah, it was just because they all get caught.
Last time I had a pap smear, the guy needed leather gloves and an oyster shucker.
Oh, David Keith is in that. I forgot.
He is, yeah. A fatty who likes golf and beer? Gee, where are you going to find a gem like that?
Oh, God. Oh, Woogie? Who's got their name Woogie? I mean, come on.
That's about, you've heard about 7-minute abs, right? That's about 6-minute abs.
I can't remember what he says to respond to that. Until the guy that comes out with 5-minute abs. No.
No. What happens to that minute? You just, I don't fucking care. You just throw it away.
Oh.
I know it's 8-minute abs, and then he goes 7-minute abs. That's it. It's just as good as a workout as a.
Oh yeah, shit. Breaks the beats.
If you're not happy with the first 10 minutes, we're gonna send you the extra minute for free. Or that part where he's like, unless of course somebody comes up with 6-minute abs, you're in trouble then, huh? And then he's like, no, not 6. I said 7. Nobody's coming up with 6. Who works out in 6 minutes? You won't even get your heart going.
It's look, I didn't solicit sex, okay? So I was going out to pee. I was walking in the bushes and I tripped over this guy. Yeah, I was just going out to pee. Oh,
What the fuck is happening to us?
have you seen my wiener?
That's it. Yeah, have you seen my wiener? Oh my god. All right, Jake. The next time we get together, we got to kick back and watch some Adam Sandler movies. I think that. No, that's not even an Adam Sandler movie.
No,
That's
that's a
fucking
Ben
Ben
Stiller.
Stiller.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Cameron Diaz, Ben Stiller.
Stiller.
What the hell's his freaking face? Is it
Yeah.
Matt Dillon?
Matt
I think-
Dillon is.
Yeah. I think
I think
he's
so.
in there.
Yeah.
I think it's Matt Dillon. I can't remember if it's him or not. I gotta look that shit up. Now you got me wondering.
Yeah, I know. And then like the creepy dude, the guy with the fucking
Yeah.
7-minute ab dudes, and
Yeah.
that's Chris Elliott. That's it. That dude is like a side character in so many movies, and he's like
Oh yeah.
always super awkward, but always awesome too.
Yeah. Well, like he was in How I Met Your Mother, and he's like just wow. So,
I don't think that dude gets credit for just how uncomfortable he makes me. Props to him.
Did you know that Sarah Silverman's actually in that film too?
What?
Yeah, I just looked at it. It's like I guess she's like one of Mary's friends. So
Oh, probably. I don't know. Gotta see that movie again someday. God damn it.
The fucking binoculars. He's peeping on freaking Mary or trying to.
Oh yeah.
He gets the old lady instead.
Yeah. Isn't that when like she doesn't have like giant panties or something like that?
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's that, but I just remember. Yeah.
I permanently have the image of Mary with that her fucking hair like
Yeah, from the hair
smooth-
gel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from the quote unquote gel
Yeah. Is that hair gel?
like hanging off his ear.
Because he's looking for it everywhere. He
Yeah.
can't
Find it.
He's like there in the bathroom trying to find it, and Mary's ringing the doorbell.
Oh, God damn it. All right, we need to shut this shit down. Until next time, guys, go see.
Something about Mary.
Yeah, go see, or see a Ben Stiller movie. He's good shit.
Yeah. Tropic Thunder's awesome.
Yeah, I would go with probably oh god damn it, now I forgot the fucking name. Never mind, I can't say. You do
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Zoolander. That's it.
I'm
I'm out.
Gonna drop that one.
Fuck off, everybody. I'm out. Good night.